Alright. Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara. All relations. Today, we're going to be speaking about the intrusive thoughts that come into your mind, the inner critic when it gets super loud. And it's so annoying. It's so frustrating. I remember when I was younger, I used to have this voice on full blast. And it always used to put me in some kind of a bracing mode, like an anxiety or a fight or flight mode. And it's not a nice feeling, right? When your inner voice is too loud, it just feels like there's so much static in your head that you can't even put one foot in front of the next. It feels so chaotic and scattered in your mind. So the first thing is to gain clarity and to remove and go on a mental diet, okay? This is one of the best things that you can do, is not feed or overfeed, I should say. Don't overfeed your brain with a bunch of things. See if you can let in minimal information that aligns with you directly, okay? So most people think that their intrusive thoughts are proof of how messed up they are. That's not necessarily the case. It's just simply proof that your nervous system is overloaded, it's unexamined, and there's unclaimed content there that never got metabolized, okay? Never got used for anything. It's just all sitting there like gunk. And that's why it feels heavy. That's why it keeps looping, because it's always trying to find a solution, right? So you're not crazy, okay, first and foremost. You're backed up, okay, you're clogged, in a sense. You're still carrying software that you never agreed to install. So all the shame loops, all the self-sabotaging, all the catastrophizing in your mind, your imaginations of failure, betrayal, humiliation, whatever it may be, they are mind intruders. Okay, I want you to really think of it like this, because this is how you're going to take power over it. If something is intruding my mind, it is not me. It's my past programming or conditioning. Right? So it's the voice of my parents, it's the voice of my teachers, it's the voice of authority figures, it's the voice of celebrities, it's the voice of all of the people that I admire, it's the voice of all of the people that I'm scared of, it's the voice of all of the things that I've unintegrated. Entities with no body, no address, no soul, just running around in your psyche pretending that they built the house. We're the carpenters. No, they're not. They didn't. They're squatters, okay? They're astral squatters. They entered your mind when your boundaries were weak, when you were hurt, when someone yelled at you, right? Abandoned you or humiliated you, when someone told you who you are and you believed in that concept. And so it's stuck and now it's an identity for you. So those moments of trauma created openings for these mind loops. For now you think that just because they speak inside your skull, that it must be your voice that you're listening to. It's not the case. You know it doesn't feel like you, doesn't sound like you, right? You see, identity is a habit. Personality is just a guess. You are not the content of your mind. You are the awareness witnessing the content. So intrusive thoughts are not solved by defeating them. That's where 99% of mindset influencers get this all wrong. Right? You don't fight intruders with force, right? Am I going to try to punch the noise? Because if you punch the noise, you're saying that it's equal to you. It's not. So the real cure that I'm giving you here on this video is you disidentify. You disidentify. You watch the voice from a higher altitude, okay? I've given you some techniques earlier where you can change the pitch of your voice, right? So when you hear it differently than your own voice, then of course you can create
a distance from it,
right? Have much more power over it because you've labeled it. So if you look at it like, oh, it's just a weather pattern, it's about learning to see that architecture in your psyche, okay? This is not about controlling thoughts, okay? That's gonna get you even more confused. Just notice it. Oh, there's that anxiety today. Oh, there's judgment coming up inside me right now. Just observe it. You stop asking How do I stop these thoughts? Instead, you start asking, who's having these thoughts? If you change the who, the what changes on its own. This is why I teach flow state adepts to handle this. Label the intruder, separate yourself from it, breathe and become bigger than the voice. Watch the voice, but don't engage with it. And hold your center, hold your ground. Imagine that you're speaking back to somebody that just broke into your home. You have to be firm, you have to be convincing, right? At the same time, you have to show some compassion. But you know there's a specific, unique code in terms of your communication style and the way that you're functioning that's going to help you optimally here. So your inner critic is only powerful when you think it is you. Oof. I hope this gives somebody goosebumps, man. I hope this just clicks for somebody, and then they start taking action and doubling down on just turning the volume down on that inner critic and taking action irregardless. Right? Let's say you're about to say hi to someone. No, you can't say hi to them. They'll reject you. They won't say hi back. You immediately have that little inner critic, that little inner voice. What if you're like, quiet down, man. I'm gonna say hi anyway. You watch this. Hey, how's it going? Hey, what's up? And it worked. Now that inner critic, guess what? It's fidgeting. It's trying to go, wait, it worked? Wait, actually, but then what do we do? But then what do we do, right? That's the voice of anxiety. It always tries to go into the future. But if you can relax yourself and focus on what's happening right in front of you, what can you see, hear, touch, feel, smell, taste right now, right this very moment? Inner critic has no power over your sensations. Your sensations have ultimate power. And when you can feel the sensations, you start to notice that icky feeling, that resistance within you. And through your breath, you let it go, it resets your whole chamber, your inner chamber. But nobody really does this or feels like they don't have time to do this because they're busy adults in the modern world, and I don't have time to, do self-care and look after myself and all these things. I'd rather have, just hire somebody, take care of that for me, instead of actually valuing yourself and actually, cherishing this life. Like, do you ever sit with your successes, right? Or do you just go from one goal to another goal to another goal to another goal, where you never really start to enjoy, sit and celebrate your life? Okay? So when you believe that inner critic is you, merge identities with it. You think you're a critical person, right? But it could be that you've received criticism from others, right? And you've internalized that criticism, and now it's showing up as this annoying voice. I used to call my voice Zoinks. Some of you guys know this, right? Zoinks, like, it sounds like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe I can do this, maybe I can't. I don't know. There's a monster coming. Right? It's like this whiny, raspy teenager voice. And once I changed my inner critic and its pitch and its voice to that voice, I could then differentiate from it and be like, quiet down, Zoinks. We got this, man. It's stressing over no reason. Okay? And just take my power back. So this is what I want you to do today. Take action on this. It is Nectar November, okay? Right now it is Nectar November. We're tapped into a new month. Oversoul October is done, okay? Completed, finito. Okay, it went by faster than you thought. But now it's time to double down. You cannot change the voice if you're inside the voice. So you witness it. You change it by realizing. You are the space where voices come and go. You are the space that the voices come and go from. You are that pure awareness. And the moment you see this, these intruders that come into your mind, that distract you from the present moment, they're gonna scatter. They're gonna lose their grip. They become like background noise, right? Background static. It's not the main event anymore, okay? They become nonsense. It's like you're dealing with a joke. So you become free not by silencing the mind, but realizing you are not the mind. The kingdom belongs back to the sovereign, and your throne is waiting for you. So sit back on it and reclaim your consciousness. You're just the king or queen that went dormant. You just forgot. You were royalty. You were divine royalty. Reclaim the command post of your consciousness, okay? Every intruder, every self-attack, every shame echo, every traumatic memory will be nothing more than just, a fruit fly hitting a glass. And you'll be wondering how the hell you ever believed that it had power over you. Because you're convinced, right? You're convinced by that voice, because it's the voice of society too, right? Kind of creeping in, telling you, are you good enough? Are you okay? Are you fitting in with the rest of society? What is your measure of if you're doing well, right? Because my measure is my inner critic ain't loud. It's quieted down. I've submitted my inner critic. You know, when you fight, do combat sports, right? Jiu-jitsu, grappling, or wrestling, or boxing, you submit your opponent, correct? Just like that. You're not gonna fight against these thoughts, but you can psychologically dominate them. You can, right? Or you can use humor, something lighter. You can use a lighter approach, obviously. Like imagine if your voice in your head sounded like Goofy, right? Right? Sound like Goofy the dog. Now the next time you're about to do something terrifying, you hear that voice in your head, right? No, we can't do it. No, no, no. Right? Of Goofy. And then you go, you're not even real, bro. Right? You're just a projection. You're just a conditioning of my past. You're living in my house, actually. And you're living rent-free right now. So what are you going to pay me for you to stay here? Right? Real talk, though. Real talk, because this is how you would deal with somebody. Let's say that someone broke into your house and they're staying in your basement now. Right? They're squatting in your basement. You'd be like, get out of here. Right? Immediately, you'd just be like, what are you doing? This is not allowed, right? But what if they begged you? What if they pleaded you? What if they were like, no, we need to stay. Remember that time in 3rd grade when Mrs. Derpstein told us that in like an annoying comment? And then we internalized it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm squatting in your house. When you say it like that, it sounds quite ridiculous, right? When you say it like that, wait, an old memory is back and it's like squatting in my skull, right? In my brain? What's going on here, right? Who gave this being permission? Who gave this annoying thought fractal permission to enter this experience called life? You did. You gave it permission to stay because somehow you secretly believe that there's a payoff. There's some kind of hidden motive that you're benefiting from. That's the reason why it's there. That's the reason why your inner critic is there. Okay? Some of you guys have hella loud super egos, okay? Your moral compass is way too loud, yo. You need to bring that thing down. Okay? Can't even leave the house without appearing to be perfect. It's ridiculous. It's all a projection. It's all fake. It's falseness. Don't you get it? It's your own mind talking to you, wasting your own time. Whereas if you realize I'm creator consciousness, I'm sovereign, I can control this thing. I'm the one that moves forward. I'm the cause, not at the effect, and always being reactive in life, right? Then you start moving forward. You start doubling down on you, and you start realizing, like, wait a second, this is much easier than I thought. I'm making this way more complicated than it needs to be, okay? I need to recognize this is in part of my outdated software that's coming in and replaying right now, right? If I have a moment of panic, then I realize, I pause and I think, I remember once I had this moment of panic where I was like worried that my driver wasn't there or something like that during that day. And I had to like book an Uber and figure something. And I noticed all these voices come into my mind, like different voices. And it didn't even sound like me. Honestly, it sounded like my ancestors. It was like an egregore of my ancestors all kind of talking over each other, all in rage, all in anxiety. So I noticed that all of the things that I struggle with, right? Because anxiety and rage are kind of linked, because oftentimes we are not actually angry about something, we're actually scared underneath the anger. So men, how we show anger at times is actually that we're actually very scared, okay? We don't know how to process emotions or talk about our emotions either, mostly as guys, right? We kind of do, but it's like, it's not real, right? It doesn't feel real, it doesn't feel authentic, right? It's kind of like, oh yeah, bro, we'll get over it. Let's have a drink. We'll get over it, right? That's kind of the approach. But what about the diving deep into this stuff? What about not hiding? What about just witnessing, being able to just go and move forward and just double down on this thing, right? Being able to say fuck it and just go ahead into what your craft is. It's going to be so powerful. So don't ever start to doubt yourself, question yourself, get into this hesitation trap when it comes down to your inner critic. You kind of have to treat it like a little annoying roommate that just won't shut up, right? That just won't shut up. So what do? You treat him like that. Listen, you got your side of the room, I got my side of the room, right? You're not gonna put your stuff near mine and you're not gonna come in here. That's what you tell a roommate, right? Unless you're like super shy or whatever. But this is the time for personality development, character development, right? You gotta step up and actually be like, yo, this thought that's ruminating, it's not real, it's not even true, right? It's from 8th grade or something. So start to really recognize this and double down on who you really are. Okay, that's what's gonna help you take power over this annoying little squeaky voice. And it sounds like you right now. That's why you're struggling with it. It sounds like your own voice in your own head. But what if it wasn't, right? What if it was a different, like something that intruded your mind and started changing opinions, moving stuff around, moving furniture of your mind around. And you start going, I was never like this. I never used to behave like this. I used to be so happy. I used to do this. I used to do that in the past, right? You start thinking like this, and then you start going, you're right. It doesn't happen like that. And trauma was the opening for these mind intruders to get into me. And I haven't processed that trauma. I haven't integrated and closed the loop of my overthinking mind yet. And therefore it keeps looping and coming back, intruding my mind, intruding my peace of mind. You know the number one thing that I hear from people who walk into my door and have sessions with me over here, right? Let me show you guys. This is where I have sessions, okay? You know the number one thing that I hear, okay? They want mental peace. They want mental peace. They want to be free from all this noise. That's the number one complaint of most people. Get me out of this annoying thing in my mind, right? That just keeps yapping. That's the most common complaint that I get. That's the greatest goal that people double down on. So yeah, guys, now it's all about you. Getting acquainted with you and recognizing you're the space that holds all these thoughts. Okay, you're the landlord. Get these astral critters evicted, okay? You're better than that. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang may never be the same again. If you need support with this, reach out. Let's go. Upward Spiral. Boom.